there was a man from Texas who traveled to Indianapolis. He's been arrested he's alleged to have stalked Caitlin Clark and sent her threatening text messages and the like, just a gross situation all around. And Michael Lewis is the guy.
Michael Lewis, a man from Texas, turned Caitlin Clark's life into a nightmare. This wasn't just some random fan acting weird online. This guy actually stalked her, sent disgusting messages, and bragged about driving around her house 3 times a day.
There's something wrong with this man. He is clearly not all right in the head, and he is clearly dangerous. This is awful. I hate hearing stories like...
Think about that. Someone obsessively circling your house multiple times daily. It's the stuff of nightmares. And Caitlin. She didn't let anyone know. She didn't talk about it, didn't show any signs that something was wrong. Instead, she kept dominating on the basketball court like nothing was happening.
Indianapolis from Texas, authorities identified him through his IP address. It is alleged that this man was direct messaging Caitlin Clark and also tweeting at her on X. And he even said at one point that he had been driving around your house 3 times.
But behind all those incredible plays and that confident smile, she was living with this terrifying reality. She handled it all on her own while the rest of us cheered her on, clueless about the hell she was going through. So let's talk about this creep, Michael Lewis. He traveled from Texas to Indianapolis, claiming he was on vacation. But that wasn't why he was there. He was stalking Caitlin. Authorities say he sent her sexual and threatening messages on social media. He even admitted to circling her house 3 times a day. Who does that? When the police first confronted him, they warned him to back off, and guess what he said? He called it a fantasy thing. Seriously? How is stalking someone, sending them threats, and showing up near their home considered a fantasy?
Unfortunately, not the only person who, I hope it's the only person who goes as far as to actually stalking her. But I'm sure on the daily, she gets weird messages, she gets hateful messages, she gets trolling, she gets all of those things on her social media accounts. She is a global star. With that comes so many incredible things, but it also comes with stuff that people who are not in the public eye, they can't even really understand.
Even after that warning, he kept going. It wasn't until the police tracked him down using his IP address that they finally arrested him. Imagine how long Caitlin had to put up with this before something was done. It's infuriating to think about how slow the system can be when it comes to protecting people from this kind of behavior. Now, let's get into how social media plays a role in all this. Athletes like Caitlin rely on social media to connect with fans, grow their brand, and land sponsorships. But it's also a double-edged sword. The more they share, the more they expose themselves to people with bad intentions. The scary part is, as women's sports grow in popularity, these incidents are becoming more common. The bigger the spotlight, the more obsessed fans crawl out of the woodwork. And here's the worst part. The leagues that should be protecting these athletes aren't doing enough. The WNBA, NCAA, and even big organizations don't have proper systems in place to handle this. Athletes are left to fend for themselves, hoping the police or someone else will step in before things escalate too far. On top of all this, think about the mental toll. It's not just about physical safety. Being stalked messes with your head. You're constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if someone is watching. You feel exposed, vulnerable, and scared, while still trying to show up and perform at the highest level. Caitlin was dealing with all of that, and yet she didn't let it stop her. She kept showing up on the court, playing her heart out and inspiring her fans. But no one should have to go through that kind of fear just to chase their dreams. Social media platforms also need to step up. They make it too easy for people like Lewis to harass others. Reports of stalking and threats are often ignored unless they escalate into something extreme. That's not okay. Platforms need stricter policies and better tools to protect people, especially public figures who are more at risk. Caitlin's experience is proof that fame has a dark side. She's incredibly strong, but no one should have to endure what she did. This is a bigger issue that demands action. Athletes deserve to feel safe, both on and off the court. Let's not wait for another story like this to finally start making changes. It's time to step up and do better for Caitlin and every other athlete facing the same struggles.